really try to put it in gear very quickly so that the neighbors don't get annoyed. But for you guys, cold start. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Snowcat SRT, and behind me is my 2016 Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat. Today I'm going to be talking about the modifications I've done to the car, as well as living with it on a day-to-day basis. So let's start with a quick overview. This is my second daily driver. The other one is my Alfa Romeo 4C, which I reviewed the other day. Check it out in the top right corner to see my thoughts on that car. As you can see, it has a wide body kit on it, and it's been done by a prior design. That includes the front bumpers, this front splitter, this fender flares, and you got the rear spoiler and the diffuser in the back. The kit is made out of carbon fiber and reinforced with fiberglass, so it's very sturdy, and that's why also it's quite expensive, because around $12,000 you're paying a lot for a wide body kit, but you get everything, and I've had no issues with it whatsoever. As you can see, the car is riding on airbags right now. I've done a review on the whole system, so you can check it out in the top right corner, so I'll just go over the basics in this video. I opted for AccuAir E-Level to be precise, and what this basically does is make sure that the car is always level. So for example, if you got stuff in your boot or anything like that, it will make sure that everything is level so you don't have any sagging in the back. And also, this system comes with a really neat feature where when you start the car, it automatically rises up and is ready to go. This is really important, and it saved my ass a couple of times, because when you're leaving car meets or you're doing anything and you forget about all things around you, you won't scrape or hit the front fender while turning your wheels. So let's start it up and see how it works. Alright, so I shut off the car now, and it is in its highest setting. So this is what I really drive with, just to make sure I don't rub anything, I don't hurt the car. If I need to do any sort of quick maneuvers, I know that I'm fine and I have enough clearance that I won't hit any of the fenders. Let's go have a look at the endo tank that comes with the AccuAir system. So this is the previous tank that was available at the time when I bought this kit. Now they have a really cool one which includes the compressors inside the tank, just makes it a little bit more cleaner, and you save some space. But right now, actually, this isn't that bad. I use the trunk for daily stuff, and I've taken my parents to the airport and done all of that, and that's why this thing is a little bit dented inside. I just need to pull that out, and unfortunately this was scratched as well, but that's not a big deal. Can always either repaint it or wrap it in the future, which I do have some future plans with this car, but that's the future, so we're gonna only talk about the now. This kind of setup allows me to keep a spare tire in here as well. I do not want to see what that looks like if we ever have to use it, and hopefully we don't. And yeah, that's the boot. Let's go check out the other mods that have been done to this car. It's also on 21-inch wheels by 1221. I really like how they came out. They're 10.5-inch wide in the front, wrapped around 305 Dunlop Grip Max, Sport Max, and the rears are 325s, giving that really wide look. They're also a bit stretched, and they have tire stickers on them by Treadwear. Also have the Dunlop sign, and this whole strip that goes around is also a separate piece that you can get from them. I really like the look. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think about it? Some things to note about Dodge's quality and exterior quality. I have a little scuff right here, and it's starting to break off the matte paint here as well, and that's probably just a defect from the factory, because this plastic piece just rubs around and kind of scratches the paint there, which is unfortunate. And also in the back here, this bumper, since it's the original bumper that came with the car, doesn't fit properly. I'm not sure if that's a clip, but we have to check that out. Came off perfectly, readjusted, put it back on, and still got this little issue here. So maybe in the future need to check that out. If you guys are having that issue, let me know as well. And speaking about the rear bumpers, we painted them again because they had a little bit of orange in them because they're a plastic part compared to the metal, and tried to match the color as perfectly as possible. And it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad at all. I can't see the difference, as well as all the fenders have been painted as well because they come unpainted. And the front bumper, which is new, that came with the kit, has also been painted. This part, I don't know what you call it, is the original part. And as you can see with this front bumper, you get a little bit more space here compared to the original one. But when you're standing a bit further away, you can't even notice it. This vehicle right here is putting around 812 horses down to the rear wheels. And if I can get this open with one hand, that will be perfect. Let's see, there we go. That is a 6.2 liter Hemi, supercharged with a 2.4 liter supercharger right slap down on the middle. Fuck yeah! Other modifications that I've done here include the cold air intake by Legmaker. Now, when it comes to cold air intakes and the Hellcat, I would just advise to get something with carbon fiber on it, because that is the only thing that helps. It doesn't give you that much power at all. It's not even noticeable. It's not even worth the money. It's only worth it when you want to cool down the supercharger faster, when you cool down the engine, so it dissipates heat a lot better than the stock airbox. This doesn't have an airbox. It's like a makeshift thing that Legmaker do. It's just to cover this part because rain comes in from these heat extractors here, which is annoying, and why my engine bay is never as clean as I would love it to be. As well, we have dressing by billet technology, so all these billet covers just to make, clean up the engine bay a little bit, because all of that was like exposed plastic, which I didn't really like, as you can see underneath here. But from up top, it looks nice. At least that's my opinion on it. Also from billet technology, we have this catch can. We have a 180 thermostat. Oh, that's hot. 180 thermostat in there. We got the Metco pulley with a 285 ratio, as well as underneath the valve covers. We have 1000 cc injectors, and that's pretty much it. After that, I just tuned the car. You can check out that video in the top right corner, as well as we have a 3-inch racing B-Woody heat exchanger at the front. That really helps, especially in this region. This car is cool all the time, and during hot summers, you barely notice the difference when it comes to performance, but when I didn't have that and the car was stock, you could literally feel like this car was struggling in the heat. American racing headers that are pretty low to the ground, but they don't touch and they don't rub. I have no issues with that. I know a couple of Charger guys had some issues with it being too low, but for this application, works perfectly fine. And with the headers, I had to delete the cats, and the rest of the exhaust is absolutely 100% bone stock. Just interrupted by security. Yeah, I have a carbon fiber drive shaft and a diff brace for the diff, because these cars are notorious for breaking them on a drag strip. I haven't drag raced this car yet, just waiting to get a better wheel setup and get some more meat on those wheels, because these guys quite low profile, as you can see. All right, so let's move into the interior. I haven't done actually that much to it. There's just a lot of flies because we're right. Look at what the hell. So I've just got these done by Cannonball. He's on Instagram. He does custom engraving, and we got the custom Snowcat logo, which is similar to the Hellcat logo. It just has like these fangs that come out a bit more, and it's got the demon ears. Other than that, everything is pretty much stock on the inside. Planning on doing some stuff here. I want to change these and get carbon fiber parts custom made, but that will take some time, especially if I'm going to do them locally and I haven't found anything online. So if you know a place that does that, please leave a comment down below. Alright, so now we got the GoPro set up on the car for some exhaust noises. Hopefully we'll be able to shoot some flames, because after the tune we got a little bit of popping action going on over 4,000 revs. So I'm gonna remote start the car. You'll see how it goes up a little bit. That's done automatically with the AccuAir kit. And let's go for a drive. And the door is open, so that's fail. Hellcat. Just had some coffee with Casper, who helped me out with those shots. Thanks a lot, man. And let's go head out and talk about how this car drives as a daily and how it drives in general. So 812 wheel horsepower. That's quite a lot of power to put down to the rear wheels in any car. And as you'd expect, this car also struggles with that, especially these tires. But we did a couple of clips with those burnouts, and every time you put a little bit more heat in them, they grip more. So on a cold day like this, at the beginning it was kind of a bit scary to just go on full throttle, but after that, no issues at all. I mean, it hooks up in second gear, no problem once they're warmed up, and I'm really happy with that. It's kind of surprising. Yeah, this car is amazing to drive. I mean, it's V8. It's lazy. It's always a little bit tired. You know, you have to really punch it for it to get its full potential out, and then it just gets mad at you for waking it up. It has a lot of character, this car, and that's why I love it, because a lot of these modern cars are losing their character. They're getting better and better, meaning that they have less quirks about them, you know, like as Doug Murrow would say. They're just getting boring, in my opinion, and this car nothing is boring about it. I mean, if you start off with the shape of this classic American muscle car. Literally, I believe this is the last American muscle car, because it's heavy, it's cumbersome, it's huge, it's longer than a brand new Range Rover. I mean, it's big, man. And thanks to that, you still have some space in the back. Not that much, not as much as I'd like. That's always an issue in driving with more than one passenger. You need, you know, to think about the front. I mean, in this seating position, you'd have a hard time sitting in the back. So as a transportation vehicle, no, that doesn't work at all. You need a four-door for that. The Challenger has a longer hood than the Charger, and that's why the Charger has more space in the back. The boot space is the same. It has a lot of boot space, as you saw in the video, and that's great, you know, like for daily use. The fuel consumption is quite high. It's around 17, 18 liters per 100 kilometers. But I don't really worry about that, because we live in the Middle East, where fuel is really cheap compared to anywhere else in the world. So that's also an advantage of living here and buying this car. The standard car rides pretty well for a sports car. But with the air suspension, it's just smooth, man. It's just gliding. I mean, the seats are really thick. You got like a lot of padding in them. They're really comfortable. You can drive this on long trips, no problem. With the exhaust, it is a bit loud and drony, but you have an 8-speed ZF auto, so you're literally, when you're doing 120 or something like that, it's sitting around 1,500 revs. So man, you know, like that's the speed limit here, and it's just so good, especially when you just drop it into the normal mode, where you know, your default mode, the default setting, because this car has, you know, different settings. You got sport, track, and all that. Those automatically firm up the suspension. But thanks to the back setup I have, they're basically a bag over. So you have a coil over, you remove the coil, you put the bag on top or underneath the shock. And you can check it out in the top right corner right now. There's a video about that and installing it, so you can get to see what it looks like. And yeah, you get to keep those original factory settings, so I can stiffen up the dampers and for like spirited driving. Does it make it a great cornering car? Well, the problem is that this car weighs a lot, so you definitely feel the weight. There's no way going around that. The weight, you feel it all the time, especially like when you're hard cornering and you know, you just kind of shift off to the side. Which is, yeah, it's something that comes with the car, but that, as I said, is a characteristic that I don't mind having, because this thing in a straight line is like a missile, man. It's heavy, you know, but it picks up speed like nothing I've ever driven before. Literally nothing. I mean, yes, there are cars that are faster that I've driven, but the way this thing just keeps on accelerating, you have no lag whatsoever. It just keeps on. It's like a train, man. The wide body takes some getting to used to, because of course the car is wider than you can see. So for example, if you're sitting where I am, you can't see the fender sticking out a little bit, so you have to get used to how wide the car is. But it's honestly not very hard. I go into parking lots and all that, and underground parking and multi-story parking, and I have no issues traversing them. Ground clearance is still pretty good, even though I have that splitter in the front. I have no issues with speed bumps and all that, and that was literally the kind of way this thing was also designed, because I wanted it to be usable on a day-to-day basis. I think that you should drive your cars. If you modified them, you should enjoy them, instead of having to deal with all these issues that come up with modifying cars. And so far it's been excellent. I can't complain about anything. There are a couple of times where I've had this issue where the pulley would slip, and I just need to get an idler pulley for that, and unfortunately the car goes into limp mode once it slips a little bit too much. That usually happens when upshifting a couple of gears or downshifting, and you know, just need to be careful with that and work the paddles, which are very nice. The car shifts really quick. In track mode, it's blistering fast, and it jerks the car around the lot. It's very aggressive. When I'm doing a run, I use the sport mode because it's way smoother, and just gives you like a nice feeling. And you know, this car is a show car slash mod car, you know. I mean, I wanted a little bit of both, but you know, there's definitely limitations when it comes to how far you can go with either of those aspects. But in the end, it came out exactly how I wanted it. It feels exactly like I wanted it. I don't know if you can hear the diff. You know, you get that little bit of whine from the drive shaft, because it's basically, the original one is a two-piece. This is a single piece, which is stronger, but it's a different material. It's carbon fiber, so you get that kind of hollow howl at this sort of speed. But it's nothing to write home about. I mean, it's just a little thing that I personally have gotten used to. But I know that it could. Wow, that guy just flew past me. Shit. All right. Yeah, people drive like crazy here sometimes. It's kind of scary. It's so much fun. Just driving something like this, you know that you can take anything else on this road, man. Anything. Rock up to me with a Huracan, I don't care. I have you, you know, and I don't need to drive fast. I don't need to prove it, because I already know. I've already beaten one. I know there's not many bad things I've said about this car. The truth of the matter is, I haven't had any issues with it. Like, I literally never had a big issue that stopped me from driving, or a speed bump that was too big, or an issue where I had to go back to the dealership or anything like that. The mods took a long time to get here, because you know, we need to order everything from the States and pay for shipping. That gets quite expensive. Nothing. This has been the most reliable car I've ever had. I mean, I've only done 10,000 miles in it in 2 years. So I know that's not a lot, and you know, things are probably on their way. Knock on head, wood, whatever. But I'm loving it. I mean, you know, cars, it's a very difficult climate for cars like this. It's very hot during the summer, and the fact that this thing has never coughed once and never given me a headache. What else could I want from life? What else could I want from a car? Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to leave questions, and I'll reply to them in the comment section down below about anything you have. Hopefully I gave you a good insight into this car. I know I didn't talk about all the features and everything, but that wasn't what this video was about. It was about ownership. And yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Take care.